Today's guest, Marcus Yarnold. Very excited about talking to Marcus. So I would say a new type of renewable energy professional who's built his career from the tower up. Marcus started with working on wind turbines on Vestas platforms. I saw V110s and V150s. Gained extensive experience in rope access and energized work, and has since transitioned into training, certification, and business ownership. The owner of TNT Torque and Tensioning, a field service company focused on torque tensioning, dropped object prevention, and high-risk scopes across wind, solar substations, I saw. In parallel, Marcus is an instructor at Optimum Academy, delivering GWO and rope access training to technicians working at heights every day. Marcus, you represent a growing segment of the industry. Technicians who take safety seriously, understand real field conditions, and now shaping how work is executed and how the next generation is trained. Today, we're going to talk about technician culture, safety done right, and what it really takes to build a renewable service business from the ground up. Marcus, welcome, and I'm excited to get to know you some more.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Excellent. All right, so tell us, when did it start? I have a date here. You remember, August 19th, 2015. What happened that day?
Ever since I was young, I had the mindset to work, and my grandpa owned a transmission shop, and as we were kids, I mean, even like 11 years old, he was teaching us the right way to work, and it always stuck with me, like, you come into work, you leave work, you got to make money, you got to provide. And so I've always had a really good working mentality. And I was a father young and wanted to make good money. And so I was actually a correctional officer, and I did not like that. Well, here in Amarillo, Texas, the wind started booming. Like, sites were being put up like crazy, and I was really interested into it, and especially into the renewable side and good, clean energy and what all entailed into that. And so I just applied, and I applied for a Vestas American Wind, and it was, I want to say, around June. I applied, went through the interview process and everything, and then accepted the offer letter in August, and then got into wind. I started at a site called South Plains 1. Still know a lot of people that are out there, still communicate, love them, know a lot of people in this area still. And it was fun, and I loved it, and I loved the construction side of it. And then just it was a whole new field, being able to come in and see like these massive machines. What do they do? How do they operate? And, I went from working on cars to working on giant machines, and got to see the similarities and just started really, really loving it. And then I was a part of most of the constructions here in this area, Salt Fork, Spinning Spur, Route 66. I was part of all of them, and I loved it, and I was just a service technician. And I did that for about 5.5 years. Then towards the end of me being like on the service side, I started taking more travel jobs. I loved the construction. I loved seeing what was advancing, what was getting bigger, what was getting better, who was doing what. And I just kept following it, just resourcing. LinkedIn has been an excellent resource in seeing what's happening. And it just kept growing on me. And then about 1.5 years from that, from traveling and doing all those jobs, I decided to kind of like settle down and how can I make a difference? And I got on Indeed and saw that Optimum was hiring, which was really cool because in the past, because I was a local here, they were local. And so our trainings, we didn't have to go to Portland, which is where Vestas's headquarters are. We didn't have to go to Portland. We could just come here. So I already knew, people here that were already offering the training. Well, one day on Indeed in 2021, July, I saw they were hiring, and I was like, well, shoot, that sounds fun, And so filled in the application. Todd Bentley, the owner of Optimum, called me within that day and asked me to come in for an interview. So came in for an interview. He asked me to do some more things to kind of see where, because teaching's a lot different, than actually doing the job. And so did a couple things, recorded a video for him of how to do something, right? How to teach something, and got hired within 2 weeks after that. And then came here, and I love my Vestas story as much, but my Optimum story is really what pushed me for everything. And when I came here, a huge problem in the industry was everybody was not getting trained the same, or safety was a huge factor. Some people would go in and get a day of training and then get sent out in the field and you know, not know what to do and then get hurt. And that's like the biggest thing we preach, because the number one killer in the world is ignorance, right? And it's not calling somebody dumb, but I really want you to think about it. How many times have you done something that you didn't know what you were doing?
Too many.
Not
Too
even
many,
at
Marcus.
not even at work, right? Not even at work.
Yeah.
And we do it at
Yeah.
home. It's just instinct, right? And so our goal was to prioritize that. And I saw that in Optimum and all the trainings that I've been in. And I was like, I've never thought of things that way. And so I came ready to go. Like I wanted, and then how can I influence these people? And then when I became my own certified instructor, I got to see that with people asking questions, coming in, not knowing the industry. And it was like, man, I was here. Like, where do you break that boundary? You know? And so just making it as relatable as possible. And I came to love it. And so 2021, I started here. Here, we're in 2026 now, which is crazy. But I went in and I wanted to be a part of everything, because we follow GWO like to a T. And I just wanted to follow everything that they implemented, like their classes for how does a turbine work, how does lotto work, or lockout tagout, uh, rigging, everything. I wanted to take it all in and then just be able to make people understand it. And so that's my career with Optimum, and I'm still focused with them. I'm still learning everything. I'm on the high voltage side now, and just where I can come in, and I love talking to people. Like I love it. And so
This works out well for a trainer.
yeah, and I get a lot of people that still call and say, "Can Marcus be our instructor?"
Very cool. All right. 10 years in, you've accomplished a lot.
Oh, thank you.
You've accomplished a lot. So from corrections, so you just saw the wind turbine sites coming up and that industry booming, and that was the first, I don't know, how you reached out and applied?
Yeah, so it is funny because I don't even remember this. And a lot of people, they're bad in their college days, and I wasn't. I promise, I wasn't bad. I was currently working on the Bell helicopter program, which is an aerospace certificate, like working on helicopters, painting them, maintenance, all that good stuff. Because we have a pretty big facility here in Amarillo, and
Okay.
out of 46 in our class, only 2 people got hired, and I was like, well, great. What am I gonna do? You know? And so a lot of my friends were like, well, have you seen like all this stuff about wind turbines? And I was like, no, but I'd like to. And so people started sending me like, hey, 150 megawatts could power the city of Dallas for this amount of time. And I was like, that's really cool. Like, where do they achieve that? How do they achieve that? And then just started watching simple, like basic YouTube videos of, yeah, the blades turn the generator converts it to AC energy. And I was like, oh, makes sense. And so I came on and just started going.
There are a lot of similarities though. So, that time in the helicopter program isn't lost, right? There's a lot of
Yeah.
similarities there,
Oh,
right?
for sure.
The mechanical, electrical tools, things like that, you probably get to bring with you.
Yeah. And it helped a lot. Um,
Hmm.
Especially coming from a mechanical background, you know. Even students, I say, if you do your own work on your cars, you can work on a turbine. It's the same thing. Look at the same resources, look how it's laid out, and you'll figure it out.
Yeah. And are most of them doing their own work on their cars?
No, not the younger generation, which is kind of
I
funny.
wondered.
Yeah, the younger generation, not so much, but it's kind of funny because my generation, like 90s kids, right? We're pretty prideful now. But 90s kids, a lot of those guys, I see a lot of it. A lot of the older generation for sure. Like for sure
Yeah.
do their own maintenances. Wind, I honestly think wind before we know it's going to become a trade. We have trades for plumbing, electricians, and stuff like that. I think wind is going to slowly go down that avenue, especially with the growth that we've been seeing. So, yeah.
Very true. I was definitely an auto mechanic out of pure survival.
Yeah.
Car's broken, have to fix it.
Yeah. I remember one of the first repairs I did was just rotors. And I was like, how does this work? Oh, there's brake fluid. Oh no, I got to press these back. It's a lot of trial and error, which is what we
Yep.
try to eliminate here at the academy is, hey, we teach pressure fluid safety, electrical safety, and on a much bigger scale can be a lot more fatal.
What's Up Renewables is growing, and we're looking for new sponsors to join us. Our show connects leaders, innovators, and field professionals across the renewable industry, and our sponsors are part of that conversation. Some have seen their network expand instantly. Others have grown revenue and brand visibility through the connections they've made right here. If you want your company to reach the people driving the future of clean energy, now's the time to get involved. Contact us at media@whatsuprenewables.com to become a sponsor today.
Those are good skills. And, even if you're repairing anything in your home too, right?
Yeah.
I tell this to people all the time, and you can find so much information at your fingertips on YouTube
Yep.
to fix your car, to fix your washing machine, whatever it is, right? A
Whatever
leaky
you need.
pipe. It's all out there. I used to have to go and buy the manuals, right? And read the books and hopefully somebody wrote one.
Yeah.
Now it's so nice. You can get the information. And if you have, gone to some of the schools like Optimum or, a helicopter school, you have the basic principles of how these mechanical, electrical, and hydraulic systems work.
Yeah.
And then go ahead and put that safety and that knowledge to good use.
Yeah.
It's
And I
very
want to
cool.
I want to touch up on the YouTube thing because that's something we preach a lot. We're not against YouTube by any means. Like it's the best free resource on this planet, right? And what you're actually doing is you're gaining knowledge, right? The thing that you were lacking on is what YouTube is feeding you. And so I think it's an incredible resource, right? And it's such a huge, vast library of information now.
Yep.
So
We
you,
found videos of how to do things on a wind turbine,
yeah.
how to do a particular repair, a test, things like that. I was amazed. I didn't even know it existed.
Yeah, it's
But
crazy, and sometimes they're like completely named something different, and I
yeah,
get it.
yeah. Sometimes it's from another country,
Yeah,
but it's out
it's
there.
some sort of weird spelling.
Right. But people are sharing their knowledge, right? Sharing their knowledge, sharing their experience for the benefit of, everyone else. I
Yeah,
love it. Do you guys do video training as well at Optimum or?
it's funny you say that because we were actually working on that today, and so
Okay.
we're because have you ever looked into the GWO courses?
Hmm.
Like it's like first aid, fire awareness. So we're starting like per module. So we're currently working on first aid, and then next we'll be working at heights, and then so on and so forth. But I think it's a good resource, especially. I think a lot of people learn better by visually seeing it. Right? We're kind of out of the age because older generations like my grandpa and my dad, they could read it in a manual and be like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Here's this. Whereas now we're in the age of, oh, I saw what that guy did. Let me just repeat that. So I think it'll be an excellent resource, and it's something we've really pushed on here lately.
I think it's great too. Plus, your students can go back and take a look again, right? As
Exactly.
a refresher, a reminder,
Yeah.
because you may not be needing to use that skill or safe practice every day. So you can go refresh real quick.
Exactly.
I love it. Well, I'm glad you guys are moving into that space. I think it was last year at OMSG, Vernova had a virtual, what do you call it when you put the goggles on and you hold things in your hand and
The
it's like a
VR.
video game?
Yeah.
VR,
The
virtual
virtual
reality. That's
reality.
it.
Yeah.
It's like a video game, and people. So I went up and checked it out. I wasn't sure I was going to like it. I've tried those video games a couple of times, and I just got nauseous. I
Yeah.
didn't
I do the
care
same
for
thing.
it.
My son's all about them, not me.
So, but I went through it, and it wasn't, it didn't make me nauseous, but it was like you had to set up the right safety pieces, barriers, a harness, these things, and climb up scale kind of a building and a ladder, and then come back
Yeah.
down. And then you had pass fail questions and select the right equipment and things like
Yeah.
that. It was impressive. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah. I've actually seen one for troubleshooting, because that's a huge task in the field too, for troubleshooting.
Yep.
And it wasn't virtual reality, it was like giant screens. And you could click on the hub, it'll click on the hub here, and this screen would put you in the hub. And then you
Oh,
could open the cabinet, see the wiring and the schematics. And I'm like, that we are so advanced, because the
yeah,
way when I started in wind, I don't even consider it wind cowboy days. I don't know if you've heard that term yet.
sure.
Um, but ours was all trial and error. Is this wire dead? How do you test this wire? You ohm it out and stuff like that. It was all you had to figure it out. And then now we're in
Yep.
a world where they're just like, okay, I put broken wire at SR22, and you're like, okay, here's SR22. And I'm like, it's incredible. It's really incredible,
It
for
sure is.
getting
Yeah.
people out there.
And I mean, I've been a part of some years ago with like these helmets the technician would wear, right?
Hmm.
And you're broadcasting back to a room where there's an expert that can help you troubleshoot
Yes.
or get the repair done. And overseas, this stuff was happening.
Yeah.
We used quite a bit of it during COVID when we couldn't travel. Some of the people,
Hmm.
so we were doing it that way. And yeah, these helmets they were interesting. I always thought just latch your cell phone to your
Yeah.
helmet. Sure, right? Like FaceTime's easy enough.
Yeah. What's funny
Kind of
is
get it
I
going.
actually I actually used to do that for, like, to get in a generator. I had my work phone and my personal phone, and I would stick, everything was isolated, everything was dead. And I would FaceTime them, and that's how I'd look inside of them. I'd FaceTime it and then rotate with the generator just to see like what's going on inside. Where's the problem? And so it's
Oh,
just
interesting.
cool. Yeah, it's cool where we've advanced, and uh,
Hmm.
cheap little tricks help.
You said Turban Cowboys. There was a TV show a long time ago, I think, called Wind Turbine Cowboys. Did you ever hear this?
I've
Uh,
heard it
I'm gonna
mentioned.
look it up.
I've never checked it
I'm
out,
gonna
but I've
look
heard
it
it
up.
mentioned.
I think it was quite a bit on rope access.
Yeah,
So that was the interesting, fun thing to put on TV, right? Guys would go up and dangle down and
yeah,
repair something on a blade, or
yeah.
inspections. Yeah.
So I
Uh,
I also do that as well. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier, but I'm a Sprat level 2, um, and I'll go hang from turbines, no problem. I don't
Pretty
really have a
cool.
sense of fear for height. I mean, it doesn't bother me as long as something's tight. And it's funny because the guys give me crap here. I'm more scared to drop something than I am myself, because I know I'm locked in.
Right. Well, that's good. You should have a good respect for heights, but not a
Yes,
fear to go
correct.
work on wind turbines. Yeah. I did some of that too back in my days, but I was working in the late 90s.
Oh man.
So, yeah, like tower rescue was a week full of rappelling.
Hmm.
Was knots and rappelling, and
Then you get
you lower
evaluated.
yourself, you lower your partner lowers you put someone in a, what's that board where if you can't move, you put them on a board, a stretcher.
Yep, the spine board, spec pack, litter basket.
Yes, yeah, and then chuck them off the turbine and lower them down. That's
Yeah,
quite a ride.
yeah,
That's quite a ride. Yeah, no, that was part of life. You had to do it to go work on them.
yeah.
Yeah, so you found out real quick if you were afraid of heights or not, I guess.
Oh, for sure. We love seeing first timers because they're like, oh, I'm not scared of heights. Then as soon as they, load that ID, the Petzl ID, they're like, start shaking and freaking out. And we're like, okay, you told us you weren't scared. You're only 15 feet above the ground.
Excuse me. Some of it's just getting used to it, right? Uh, when I was a technician traveling around, pop up the hatch, walk out to the hub, open it up, hop in. Years later, I stopped climbing, but I'd
Yeah,
once in a while go up a turbine to need to inspect something or do a job. All of a sudden, I'm crab crawling across that hub,
yeah,
right? I had lost that skill that was developed for just your sense of surroundings and awareness and comfortability. And I went, can you develop a fear of heights? And I went, no, that's silly, right? I just hadn't done it in a long time.
yeah. It's like that first time, conquering the first time. It's almost like you got to conquer it again. And
Yep.
that we see it all the time where they're like, when the hatch is
Sure.
open, which is funny because in real world, when people work on turbines, most of the time it's just in the nacelle, right? And
Hmm.
they're moving around, harnesses off, moving, doing their things. But it's funny, on our simulation, it's 15 feet high. As soon as that hatch opens, it's, oh no, what just happened? Am I tied off? All the insecurities start coming out. And
Yeah.
and that's why we do the training. Like we've got to remind you, this is a potential it could happen, you know,
I think people need to pay attention to that sense of fear, right? That's
for
that's
sure.
a natural human defense mechanism to
Yep.
protect yourself. When you feel fear, there is, you should for some reason,
Yeah.
right? And then acknowledge it and make sure that you've put in place the right safety precautions so that you can't get hurt. But I always
Yeah.
tell people, boy, if you're scared, that's great. Pay attention to it.
Yeah. Well, and it keeps you on your toes, right? I mentioned earlier ignorance being the number one killer. Number two is actually complacency, which is where
Yeah.
we get out of that, right? We get too comfortable or we've done this 1,000 times. And so those are the two main things we try to push at people. You don't know what you've done it or doing, and you've done it a million times. We got to get past that.
Yep. That's right. Complacency is a tough one, especially if you're doing the same task several times in a day, several
Yes.
days in a row, weeks, months. You have to force yourself to take a look at that procedure and follow it and read it again every time.
Yep.
It's a heck of a weird exercise for the human, but you have to do it.
For sure. And you think about it, especially using like the torque tools, because that's where we see it most commonly. Like when hydraulic and electrical torque tools get involved, people are like, wow, it's like using a drill. I've done this 100 times. Then one slip and it's like it could be irreversible. And that's what we want to avoid.
Are you seeing hand injuries?
Yeah. Crushed hands, slipped. Slip's been a pretty good one here lately too. Um, everybody does it at home too. Shoot, I did it the other night working on my transmission, but it's simple, easy stuff like that. And it's like, did you grab the right socket? Are you using the right tool? We try to break it up to it's like because when we go safety alerts, it's like, a lot of the times it can go to, well, who's really at fault? Because that's how OSHA looks at it, right?
Right.
But it's like, no, they don't do that because they want to get to the source of the problem. Was it the wrong tool? Yes. Why did you continue using it? Didn't want to get up and go get one out of the back of the hatch. Simple stuff like that. And it sucks, but here we are being the friendly reminder, right? And, sometimes pictures speak volume, right? The most famous picture in Wind, the two brothers hugging, right? Everybody's familiar that has worked on a turbine. Have you not seen that picture? Oh man, the one that happened in Denmark, the turbine's on fire and the two brothers are hugging on top. Oh man,
Shoot
that
it to
is
me.
yeah, that is I'll send it to you. That is a strong picture, and it
That
was
sounds
two
powerful.
two brothers that had lost their lives, you know, due to, I don't want to say negligence, but I would say lack of knowledge. They were pretty new, right? And bad habits. Bad habits being the number one thing. That's the biggest thing I preach in wind.
Send it over to me along with the story if you can find it.
Yeah, no,
I'd
I
like to
got
read
it because
that.
I show it to my students. It'll be excellent for you.
Hmm.
The big thing we preach, because obviously owning a company, working in wind for 10 years, I still have all 10 of my fingers and all 10 of my toes, right? The biggest thing is we got to stay on top of it, and we see bad habits more than anything. Because it sounds like you were a tech in the past too, right?
Oh,
Can
yeah.
you tell me? This is my favorite thing to start a class with. My
Oh,
favorite thing.
man. Test question.
Test question. What's the number one bad habit in wind that everybody does?
Number one bad habit. I mean, you've already hit complacency.
Yep. Just
Is
think
it
of a
that
day
one
to
or,
day. You climb your tower, you get up tower, what's the first thing you do?
man, that's a bad habit?
Yeah.
The
It might blow
first
your
thing
mind when I tell you
I
that
got up,
people do this.
let's see, the first thing I did when I got up tower was catch my breath,
Yeah, yeah.
take a little break. And then it was make sure that the turbine's locked out for what I'm going to do and start hauling up my tools.
Good,
I
good.
don't know. The bad habit in wind. Ooh,
It's funny because the people that'll listen to this that are techs, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this guy, he's getting us in trouble." No,
is that right? You
no.
are.
But
What's the number one bad habit?
the bad habit is actually the hard hat. If you look at any bad habit in the world, it's a risk and reward system, right? Every bad habit is a risk and reward. So if I get up tower and I take my hard hat off, the risk is I'm going to bump my head, right? I'm going to hit my head,
Hmm.
maybe worse, right? But the reward is I'm comfortable, right? That's the reward. That's why we take it off.
That's the bad habit. Boy, I did not know that one.
Yeah.
I do remember not liking wearing my hard hat up there
Oh,
because close quarters, I hit it on everything all
yeah.
the time. But when I didn't have it on, I ended up bumping my head.
Well, you and
Somebody
I,
came up
we got
with,
to protect these, right?
oh
Everybody sees
man,
them.
when you don't have hair on your head, you lost this sense of like spatial awareness, right? That hair is like you get a little sense before it's bumped, and you can
Yeah.
come back. Without
Now
the
it's
hair,
just
you don't know.
boom, full.
Straight bump, straight bump every time. Maybe there's a smaller version or something. I do remember somebody found like kind of a small skull cap that fit inside baseball hats,
Yep.
and you'd kind of go for that if
I
it
used to
was,
have one.
not exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it wasn't a true like overhead falling hazard or something,
Yeah.
we would go to this baseball cap, and that was pretty nice.
Yeah. And where
Maybe.
wind is now, we've been pretty fortunate that most nacelles are all enclosed now, right? There's not a lot that
Hmm.
we do that are external unless you're in rope access. And I can say from that standpoint, as a wind tech, harness always came off. Rope access, totally different. I'm in that thing. If I'm working 12 hours, I'm in that harness for 12 hours. So
Yep.
totally
Yeah.
different.
The other thing is our harnesses, they wore out pretty quick. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it was kind of tough to make them last a year sometimes,
Oh, especially get them covered
because of
with
all that.
fiberglass and
Yeah. And I don't know if you've been to Tehachapi, but there are a lot of wind turbines where you
sure
cannot
have.
get into a nacelle. You're opening them up like an Oldsmobile hood
Yeah.
and then working on them.
It's so cool. I have a little album from going out there and working and just seeing all the history because it started in Palm Springs is where wind had touched U.S. Soil, and it was so cool to go out there and see the 40 kilowatt towers, the 60 kilowatt, all the way up to the 4 megawatt. It's just impressive to see everything. If you go out there, you got to check out the turbine graveyard tour. They just have a tour of all the exploded gearboxes and blades and
I've
just
not
good.
seen the turbine graveyard. I feel like I sort of live near one here in Tehachapi, but
Yeah.
I thought Tehachapi got the first turbine in '81.
So I've heard different things. I thought it was Tehachapi too. And it's really cool. Our last instructor, his name was George Grease.
Oh, I know George.
Yeah, love him
I
to death.
worked with him.
I still talk to him to this day. But he started when it started, and he
Yeah.
told me that technically the first prototype was in Palm Springs in '81, and so
A V15.
a V15, tiny tower. It's a hop,
Well,
skip, and a layup.
we know the owners of that old group. They're still around. I'll have to ask them where they put the first one. There's some of them are still around here.
Yeah, ask him because George told me it was Palm Springs, but
Yeah, it could be. Well, we know the locals to ask. I'll check
Yeah.
on it. Check on it.
And that's such a cool area too. Like, I don't mind. I'm from Amarillo, Texas. This is probably the driest place in the United States,
Yeah.
figuratively speaking. But when I went to Palm Springs, I was like, the white sand kind of vibe was super cool. And then get into Tehachapi, it changes a little bit. And then what's the other direction? Mojave, going towards Mojave. Gets like sand hillish, and I don't know. I thought it was cool. I never got to experience that, and so it was the first time I tried In-N-Out burger too.
What'd you think?
Whataburger's better.
True Texan right there.
Yeah.
That's good. No, I wanted to go back on safety when you were talking about the tools and hand injuries, because I've actually years ago spent a lot of time on RCAs on different types of, say, events and working, whether it's hand tools, cranes, maintenance, right? You categorize it that way, study the injuries, and hand injuries pop up the most on almost all of these.
Yeah.
And then we started studying who was doing the same work, what companies out there, and not having them. And what we found were the ones that had the least hand injuries, because, companies were happy to share information, right? Be mature and just share what's going on. Those companies had a glove program.
Yep.
A specific glove program, and somebody that made sure it was happening all the time. So it was you could change out your gloves as you wish. It was, almost no, spared no expense to make sure there was a program. And then it became real, and they reduced their hand injuries with that simple, and make it easy, right? The boxes go out to the field, out to the job, and there they all are. And it's kind of a big, you can imagine holding a lot of different gloves, big unit. I thought brilliant.
When you think about it that way too, because we preach that too, because you've used hydraulic tooling before, right? I honestly, whatever glove you're using, if you get that hand caught, it ain't gonna do. No glove in this world, unless it's like something from Marvel, would protect you.
Yeah, Iron Man's glove.
Yeah, what we focus on is when you think about even something, because I saw the same study, Investis did this in 2017. Even as something simple as switching a glove, what did that actually do in your head?
Awareness.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, this is dangerous, right?
Yeah.
And it's a really good study, and it helps because we show it here too, because I think in 2016 there was a huge hand injury problem. And what most of the study came out to is most people weren't even coming out of their rubber gloves. They'd climb in rubber gloves, they change filters in rubber gloves, they take rotors off in rubber gloves. And so it was just the mindset. I don't want to get my hands dirty, so I'm just wearing these just to wear them, But it was a really cool study. That's cool that you looked into that too.
Another good one. All right. And then the other one I wanted to share, because I'm the older guy now, and I saw lots of weird soft tissue injuries just from moving around the heavy torque tools because of body positioning, right? When you're young, you can extend and maybe, your joints are softer and things, but boy, you get older and you don't have the right position just to pick something up. You get some popping going on in the joints. So got to watch those as well.
Yeah, I think you'll laugh when I say this because I know I'm still young. I think I'm 32 and my knees are 52. Right? And honestly, I think a lot of that was poor ergonomics on my choice, right? That's an argument I hear a lot from students is like climbing's bad for your knees. And it's like, to an extent, yes, but it's really how you're doing it, right? When we start throwing equipment into the mix, like our body's technically not rated for that. When we start, because any ergonomic class you go take, they like, protect your back, use your legs, right? People don't take that into consideration when they're moving from the back of the nacelle to the front of the nacelle, because you got bending, twisting, kneeling, squatting, right? And then when you're doing that with all this equipment, you're wearing your body down so much faster. I want to make a shirt one day that, says ergonomics and turbines, and have a guy like squatting a turbine. But just as a friendly reminder, like,
It's a good one.
Don't put your body into that, take care of it. I wished I did.
What do you go into when it comes to safety in your bodies, like exercises? What types of exercises and stretching and maintenance to do?
I would love to show you maybe I'll clip a video of a stretch with all of our students, and I'd love to show you. But the main things we focus on is that getting it fresh, right? A lot of people the reaction is what hurts people. Like when you fall and you catch yourself and you're not stretched, that's where you see most like the damage happening. And so we do a lot of stretch and bends, like the operator, everyone's familiar with that one. But what it does is it actually loosens everything up that's going on here. So if something were to react, you're not damaging more than what it could have been, right? Because your body's more reactive now.
Let's see the video. That sounds good.
Yeah, I'll get one. Good. Trent is excellent. One of the guys that work here. He just have you watch the video and just couldn't stop laughing. Because it's a lot like Richard Simmons.
I always thought that old stretch was just ridiculous.
I did too.
And now that I'm older, I'm like, I have to do this in the morning just to keep going.
Yeah.
Yes, because it takes care of that elbow.
And
right? And you're gripping stuff and moving and.
Oh yeah, mine for me is just going straight up. You don't realize how much that does. Like it gets your back nice and straight and your arms come up. You feel the tingles in your hands. It's something simple as that. And we preach the warm up before climb, because everybody stretches at the O&M, right? Then they load their trucks up, get their equipment, drive to a tower, then start climbing. Right. We're like, it's been an hour and a half, do a little warm up.
Yeah. I used to call it little wind turbine yoga.
Yeah.
When you get up to that ladder, let's do some stretching right now.
Oh, for sure. Especially if you worked like in a cabinet that you're squatting the whole time. I have to get up and start stretching my legs, and it's simple stuff like that. And you know what? It's a friendly reminder.
Yes.
And I think
I think just listening, remembering, like when we were kids, you remember you wouldn't get out of bed till you do this.
Oh yeah.
In the bed, right, arms and legs, you wouldn't get up.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know about you, but then as I age, you just roll out of bed and go. Yeah. And I had to put those habits back into place to stretch and move, and like, man, we know it when we're kids instinctually.
Yeah.
Right. Then other things become priority.
The funniest thing I heard, you might get a kick out of this, was from my coworker Bo, and we were in the argument of should you let your car idle before you just go drive it? And you reminded me of this, and I was like, technically the oil sits, it doesn't reach the top, so you dry lubricate for a little bit, it's not good for the car, and we're sitting here arguing, and then Bo goes, well, the first thing when you wake up, do you just take off running? And I was like, no. And he's like, it's not good for your car.
Not good for anything.
Yeah. So that made me think of that, because it's like, no, I stretch and bend and everything before I wake up.
No, it's a matter of fact, as I age, it's like the most important thing I do. Right. I like to go to the gym, try and stay healthy and in shape. But man, the gym now is the first 10 minutes is just warm up before I do anything. I try and hit yogas for stretching.
Yeah.
I spend my life in this chair. Right. And even my desk will stand, but I'm still just standing.
Yeah.
And it is taking
that go under your desk.
I saw that. I don't know if I'm doing that.
I mean, it
But
probably
yeah,
helps. I just think I couldn't type. I'd be, I don't know,
right.
oriented.
Yeah, I remember someone that worked for me years ago had one of those, and the whole time they're in the meeting, you just hear this. They're walking.
Oh yeah,
It was rather annoying
yeah.
during the
You gotta
meeting.
come
Yeah,
on.
yeah. What is this pounding?
That is so funny.
Yeah, but it's so important to take care of our bodies. Before you even go to executing safe work, you're not ready for it if you're not
Yeah,
if you're not warmed up.
that is for sure.
Yeah,
And it's just
yeah.
something easy. Make it fun. I was the site DJ, and I would always throw in like just to get people on their A game. I would throw in like Spice Girls, or and then they get to thinking, and everyone starts laughing. They start freshening up, and everyone's starting to move. And then other days I'd do something like something poppy with Johnny Cash, and it would throw everybody, and they're like, oh, that was awesome. Can't wait to see what he plays tomorrow, you know. And it's
Changing genres on them.
yeah, change genres, and that's ultimately how we defeat complacency too, you know? Something different, just something that triggers your mind, and you're like, "Oh, what am I doing?" Because how many times what's the most complacent thing we do? Let me ask you that.
Mm.
Every human being, not just work.
Every human being, the most complacent. I don't know. Is it like eating, walking?
Let me say 16 or older. That might help you.
Oh, driving.
Driving, right? And think about
Yeah.
that, because how many times have you driven and you're like, man, did I pass that stop sign this morning? Right? And so we want to be able to help people decide, like, when does that become too much? And when it does is usually when something really bad happens, right? But I always encourage people, like, change your music up, listen to a different podcast, do something, roll the windows down. That's what I do. I roll the windows down. But that's honestly, and that's a huge reason why I drive a manual, is because I'm still young, phones are problems, and sometimes I'm at a stoplight, I'm looking at Facebook, I'll keep driving and still look at Facebook, and I'm like, what am I doing? You know?
Yeah.
But driving a manual kind of shows
Phone driving is dangerous. It's amazing. I think just when I drive around, I pay attention to this, just coming and going from town. It's a 15-minute drive, like from my house to town or here to the studio. And I think it's one out of every three cars is, I say, impaired,
yeah.
because they're just simply not paying attention. I'm not saying they're under the influence of something. I'm saying impaired because they're not paying attention to driving
Yeah.
that vehicle. I think it's one in three. I love paying attention and kind of counting, and I keep a little weird average in my head. And a few years ago, I was at one in five.
Yeah.
And now I'm going, I think it's one in three. And it is that darn phone.
Yeah. And people
It's
can't even
just
decide
horrible.
like what to play on their phone. I've ridden with people that are on Spotify or Apple Music, and they're still like deciding on a song. So they're looking up, thinking, looking up, and I'm like, what's happening in there? You know? And
Mhm.
it's bad. And that's the biggest, just try to preach. Like, it's as simple as that. Like, breaking that to somebody, because everybody's done it. You've done it. I've done it. My parents have done it. And it's just, we got to bring an awareness, bring a safety culture into it, right?
Mhm.
This is what makes us a better.
Even talking on the phone, right? We've all done this, and I've traveled and driven so much that I want to talk to somebody. It helps me stay awake and alert.
Yeah.
But I look back and I'm like, I don't even remember when I got into Colorado,
Yeah.
right? Like I forgot because I
When
was
the
so
weather
into my
changed.
conversation. Yeah, yeah, because I'm focused on the conversation, and I go, oh, that's probably not good.
Yeah. And I mean,
That's not good.
it's just another awareness thing. But that's what we like to do, is because, yes, we work in a field, these dangers are here, right? But if you're doing it at home, you're doing it at work. My
Mhm.
favorite quote is, I will not, when I pass students, I will not let them pass unless I feel comfortable that they can work with my brother who's never been in a turbo. Right? That's how
Uh,
comfortable I should feel by the end of this training. Right? And it's just even bringing in habits like that, right? What you're doing when you're driving. What are you doing in class? Are you staring at your phone in class? simple stuff like that, and it's already setting yourself up for failure. So that's how I look at it.
That's a tough test to pass. I don't think I'd pass anybody on that metric. I worry too much.
Yeah. Well,
That's a good one.
my thing too is we bring it in like we're a team, right? If you were my
Yeah.
team member, I don't want to see you fail. I want to succeed with you. But it goes to that too, where if it becomes too bad, I'm failing you if I pass you, you know, because you get out there and get hurt. I would feel like it was my fault.
We'd like to thank our sponsor, Altair Energy Services, and their highly trained, expert technical staff, leveraging decades of renewable power management experience into customized solutions for everyone to meet their energy goals and contribute to a better future for all. Altair's team of hardworking, respected experts are providing full-scope, turnkey repairs, planned and unplanned maintenance, system upgrades, fully autonomous technical crews, supplemental staffing, and customized dynamic scheduling to fit your power production needs. Contact Altair at info@altairenergyservices.com and learn more about their wide range of capabilities across multiple power technologies and platforms.
Marcus, I'm impressed. You're bringing a level of culture to safety that we need
Oh, for sure.
more of in our industry, right? We understand safety. We do the studies. We have the tools, the gear, but you're bringing a level of culture to it that everybody needs to hear, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Everybody needs to hear it.
Yeah,
Very impressive.
I appreciate that.
All right. Yeah. Tell me about business ownership. How did that happen?
For a while. So it's super funny. Me and Benjamin, next time or when we do more podcasts, I'd love to get him on too. Ben is one of the greatest, nicest people you'll ever meet. He will remind you of Paul Bunyan, the lumberjack. He's a giant, a super awesome guy. And we actually worked together. And I want to say it was 2019, and we worked at a really like hard site. Like I don't like bashing companies or bashing how things went, because problems happen, right? Where it really matters is how you handled it. And that's exactly what me and Ben did. And so day one, we just immediately clicked. Just like, yeah, dude, let's just go to the hotel room and play games or something, just clicked. Or he got to see Paladera Canyon here because he was so close. Just really awesome, really clicked. And the project got finished. We went our separate ways. I was traveling more for Vestas. He went into like substation work, went into college wanting to do substation. And if he comes back and watches this video, he'll laugh when I say it. That guy knows so much about substations, it blows my mind. Like I've heard engineers talk, and then I hear Ben talk, and I'm like, this guy, like, just gets it. He can see the whole thing before it's done. Well, in 2022, we kind of had a reconnect, and we hadn't talked. We Snapchat each other. What are you doing, you dummy? Stuff like that. And then it was May of 2022. He calls me and he goes, I was just seeing what you're up to, calling some of my old wind buddies. And he's like, I'm going to start a business. I'm like, okay. I was like, what are you starting a business in? And he's like, I want to do wind turbines and I want to do it right. He's like, how much work we did where it was, we're working for the big dog, putting our lives, we don't know. And if something messes up, it's our fault, And I'm like, yeah, I like your sense of direction. I love it. I do. I really do love it. And I was like, what's your plan? And he's like, I find people on Indeed, put them on 1090s and just send them out there to go tighten bolts. And I had already been with Optimum almost 2 years. And I was like, that doesn't work. I was like, it would not work that way. I was like, you don't know how hard it is to know these customers, pass these parameters, have safety goals, be recognized by OSHA. And I just started I mean, this conversation blows my mind still to this day. It started at like 6 at night. I was in my mom's backyard. And then it was like midnight. I was like, what happened to the sun? Like we were talking about with complacency. And like we just kept spouting these ideas. And I was like, it sounds so childish, but I was like, if I was a business owner, I'd want to stay small. I'd want to take care of my guys and I would want to do the things that we want to do, you know? Because people get into wind, they get stuck in services and stuff like that. And I was like, well, I know there's people out there that love services. You know, give them what they want and pay what they're worth. You know, take care of them, right? And that's how you keep good employees. And before I continue on that, and that's why I've stayed at Optimum, is because Todd has been the best example for what a boss should be, because Optimum is very family oriented, and that's what I like. So we spit all these ideas off, and Ben's like, okay, I'm gonna do some research and then I'll get back with you, you know. I don't even know if it was a week. He calls me, he's like, dude, you're right. He's like, have you seen what it takes to get on a site? And I was like, yeah, you know, we're doing that, you know. And he's like, with your help, he's like, I think we could do it. And I was like, you know what? I think you're right. And we started, everything was hard at first, right? But it was so cool. So I gotta plug my computer back in. Everything was so cool because we started off simple. Like we didn't want any debt. That's the whole goal of our company, was no debt and take care of the people we love. That's it. How can we make that happen? So I started business cards. I remember the day I got my first business card and I was like, this is the coolest thing, you know, sent it to my family. My family's all proud. And, you know, it started simple, built our website. I'll have to send it to you. We had a friend that built our website and it turned out beautiful. But the way that our company developed was, I'm sure you've dealt with new startup companies because we see it all the time too. And it's like, get a loan, got the loan, make more money to get a bigger loan, spend more money, so on and so forth. And I was like, I don't want that, because my grandpa had always taught me that honest work is what reoccurs. People come back when you're honest, right? And so our bids, the way that we write bids and everything since the beginning was, this is the price it is, and we will stand to it. If we go over on standby time or mileage or lodging, it's our cost. We're not going to hit you with that, right? So we want to be as honest as we can be, right? And we lost a lot of bids doing it that way because people come in, they bid 30,000. By the end of it, the company paid 119,000, right? And that's not what we want, right? And we have really good relationships. Well, fast forward to 2025, which is a long time. No first job yet. And it took us calling, getting the info. We were not paying people. We were calling, what do I need to do this? What is ISNet World? What is Aveda? What is all this stuff? How do I build it? How do I do it? So we did it. And so we built everything. And then I still like it. I get a little emotional thinking about it now. October was this October of 2025 was TNT's first job that we went and did. And it was,
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I mean, the feelings and everything, just, I could not explain that. And so we did our job, kept it exactly like I said, good, honest business motto, kept going. And here's a funny story. The day that we finished that job and we drove back, we have a Ford Expedition for our vehicle. We want to be a little different, right? Looks tough, looks mean, can haul stuff, looks good. It's all black. We get in the truck, and as soon as we get out of the O&M yard, we blared TNT by AC/DC. And we were just like, yes, we did it. We did our first job, you know? And it happened to be a substation maintenance job, which, you know, it's still in wind. We're TNT Torque and Tension, which is what we focus on. But we want to offer all of our services. And like I said, for the people that we have guys that love doing services. We have guys that love troubleshooting. And like, let's get you placed there. If you really love doing this, then let's get you doing that for however long you want to do it, you know? And so we built that motto, and he's one of the most loving people I've ever met. He's been through with me some really hard times, and he's an excellent guy. And when we got that first job, man, it felt like the whole ground was shaking, you know, just on top of the world.
So cool.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. People don't understand how hard it is to get to launch a business.
And if
It's so much prep work.
Yeah, if I give advice to anybody about wind and business, I'm like, don't combine the two. Don't do it. I wouldn't do it again with everything that I've
No.
learned, you know. It's like it's a really hard avenue because wind and sales, because that's something I focus on is selling things. You can't The services that you sell is completely different than like going door to door, right? You can go site to site. Then it's like, are you on our approved vendor list? Have you been to our site before? Have you had an orientation? What kind of harness do you use? You know, it's a whole different, you kind of have to plan for that, you know?
Yep.
And so it's
Yep.
good. And I've learned so much. And I love growing. I love working on new things. I love seeing what's changing, and I love influencing, right? So,
Fantastic. But you said you wouldn't start up another one.
no.
Is it?
With all the
Go
heartbreak
ahead.
was the hard part. It was really, if you think about it, you're like, man, I got this. It's going to happen, and then shut down. A lot of people can't take that. And I've seen it in the industry where it's people, I can't do it. They quit. They go, think the grass is greener. But if it's one thing, once again, my grandpa taught me, grass is never greener on the other side. It's how you water it, right? It's how you
Right.
take care of it. And living by that standard, my resume is not huge, right? It's literally 4 companies in the past like 13 years, you know?
Good. That's good. Yeah. No, you're right. You have to, failure or, I would say, maybe not succeeding in a few areas during the launch. It needs to either it makes you stronger or it's probably not the right place for you because
Yeah.
you're right. It can be heartbreaking.
And me and Ben
Yeah.
joke that we're like a married couple because we've had to pick each other up so much where he's like, oh, this isn't going to happen. I'm like, no, come on, buddy. It's going to be okay. And
Yep.
we've made it work because you're on his time standard. Like, and it's 4:30 here, 2:30 for you. He's on the same time zone, and we have made it work. We call each other, we build punch list, we make it happen,
Very cool.
Yeah.
Man, not a lot of people go through that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. There's nothing easy about it. And man, got your first job. How cool is that?
It's fantastic.
So cool. All right. I want to, send me that website. I'm going to start following TNT Torque and Tensioning.
Yeah. And I'll send you that story as well.
Very cool. No. And then, we'll stay in contact too. And I know you and Jacob were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think
All
it's
right.
fantastic what you guys do. I did want to hit that before I forgot. I just think it's cool when safety is the biggest thing for us in all aspects of my life, right? But when you have something as like a podcast, social media, or someone actively talking about it, that's that little beep that should go off. No, let me rethink about this. Let's get out of this bad habit and let's keep going. We call that a safety culture. Everybody's got to be on the same page.
Yeah. No, it takes that real effort, right, to keep people safe. I was, boy, this was a lot of years ago, and I don't even know why I was at the interview, but I wasn't very far in my career to be hiring safety people. I was still hiring technicians
Mm-hmm.
a lot of years ago, and we're interviewing, and I was sort of assisting in the interview, but the hiring manager passes the one of the safety programs, and it was just a few pages. I don't remember what it was. And do you think this will, what do you think about this to the applicant? Will this keep everybody safe? And the applicant passed it right back and said, paper doesn't keep anyone safe.
That's
Safety
huge.
doesn't live. I was like, man, it like shocked me for a minute, but I've kept that with me. Like, yes, it is this human interaction. This
Yeah.
is how we keep people safe. And Marcus, people like yourself that have a passion for it, to invest in people, to care about the psychology of it, change the genre of the music,
For sure.
change the glove because you know that that person's now going to be aware of their hands. Those things and people like you are what's going to continue to keep others safe.
Yeah.
I never had that passion that way, and I had plenty of injuries through my career. And it was a lot of years later where finally somebody, a safety professional, a friend of mine, Oscar Villalobos, finally took as much time as it needed for me to change my mindset. And I mean, he didn't give up on me for months.
Yeah.
And I was a director. I wasn't even working the field, but he knew he needed to change my mind so that I could help others.
Yeah.
But now I just, I'm very aware of it. I make sure that I'm always talking about it, always learning, always sharing. And then more importantly, working with people like yourselves and others that have that
Yeah.
passion and that expertise and skill set. Because I know I don't personally have it, but it takes that sharing all the time.
Yeah. And sometimes even the realization, right? For some people that have been in an industry and never thought of it that way, I mean, makes a huge influence. I mean, we've seen sites change when that mentality comes out and they're like, I never thought of it that way, And
Yeah.
it just gets incorporated. And it's a huge thing. It's the best thing we can do to bring that culture up.
I love it. Well, what else do you have anything else to say? Otherwise, I think we're kind of getting to that hour. We'll wrap it up.
Yeah. I did want to tell you, hobbies, right? Got to make time for those.
All right.
I love motorcycles. I've owned a couple. But
What kind?
what made me, I have a Yamaha Bolt. It's a cafe racer. I love
Oh.
the style of them. And then I have a 1980 XS 80s cafe racer. And
Very cool.
yeah, but when you were talking about cars, motorcycle, they see it firsthand who's paying attention and who's not. When you said 1 to 3, I was literally thinking of one because I drive down I-27. It's a huge, highway, and I see it just like you said. Past 3 vehicles, there's always one, and so
Yeah.
and I love to hunt and fish. Like I love fishing.
Ooh, what kind of hunting and fishing?
We're big bird hunters, me and my brothers.
Okay.
So we try to get all the birds we can in the season. Then my favorite fish to catch, I'm going to sound lame and old, but is rainbow trout. Love it.
No, man, the trout fishing is one of my favorites. I got like a bunch of different species right here in California trying to check them up.
I got to fish and I'd never been there. It's where Hatchet Ridge is. It's a pattern site. In the mountains of up north by Redding, small town.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I got to rainbow trout fish there, and I was like, this is incredible. You can go anywhere, and it's just toss a line, there's rainbow trout. I'm like, maybe I'll move here.
Oh, buddy. Well, and a lot of them are farm raised, the rainbows. Yep. So in California, it's hard to go find the wilds. And I did my research this last summer, and I found a spot where they're wild, and it's about 1,100 foot elevation change, steep, and it's a backpack in, and you got to sleep down there.
Yeah.
2 nights, like 2.5 days fishing, couldn't catch one. I was landing them, I was hooking them, couldn't land them because I follow all the rules. And it was fly fishing, no barb, this and that.
Yeah.
And these other people come in and they're catching like a dozen. And I'm like, you're cheating, and I'm not going to cheat.
Yeah.
But I couldn't get them.
First time I tried it, and it's like they'd hit it and I'd pull and then they'd just fall off. And I'm like, what the heck? Then you come to Texas and they're like, we don't care. Use whatever you want.
use whatever.
Yeah.
Well, the wild rainbows fight harder than any. I thought the brook trout fought pretty hard.
Have you caught
But the
ground?
wild rainbows, yeah, got browns.
Ground? They put a fun fight up too.
Man, these wild rainbows, I'll show you on a map if you ever want to go on a hike and try and catch some of these
Let's do
knuckleheads.
it.
They are tough.
That is
All
awesome.
right, very cool. You got great hobbies. I love them myself. I'm into motorcycles too. I used to do dirt bikes, now street
Oh, yeah.
bikes, and yeah.
Just
So
ride
we can do some riding fishing.
Yeah. I actually have a fishing pole for my motorcycle.
No way.
It's
Jacob, I do need my power cord.
It's a Proficiency collapsible rod, and it just fits perfect in a saddlebag.
Oh, that's cool. I'll have to look into one of those. Right on, man. This has been a real pleasure getting to know you. And would like to get to know, would you say, Ben?
Yep, Ben.
And and keep talking. And I'm looking forward to following TNT Torque and Tensioning and seeing what kind of extra safety tips and tricks you guys are coming up with, because you certainly have the experience and the passion and drive for it. And we need that.
Oh, for sure. We do. I will say, we know how to catch technicians' eyes, and we went pretty hard on our hat. So when you check out our LinkedIn page, go look at our hats. They're pretty
Okay.
They're pretty awesome.
Man, it was a pleasure getting to know you. Love your drive and passion for this industry, buddy. Keep it up.
You keep it up too, and I'm gonna keep watching y'all's videos as they come out.
Well, we appreciate that. All right. Take care, Marcus.
You too.